All right, welcome. This is Froggy and Friends podcast, a podcast that's put on by Frogman's Finds, at frogmansfinds.com. We are your local toy store online. If you haven't checked us out, go check us out. We try to carry all the latest and greatest. But yeah, here on our podcast, we like to do some store updates. We like to talk about things that we've picked up lately, toy news, and anything else that kind of might come up. Um, I'm Froggy, and I am totally wiped from today and my quote unquote real job being super busy. So happy to be here, though. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Good, good. Yeah. So I apologize if I feel or if I come across a little frazzled. I feel like yeah, it's been one of those days. But to start
Feel that.
with, yeah, to start with store updates. I just got word today for both of these that our Jada, Blanca, and Sagat are going to be coming soon. I imagine
Ooh,
they'll
man.
show up at least in the warehouse probably tomorrow, which is going to be Friday. And then right before I left home from work, my rep called me again and said that the the retro carded GI Joe wave should be arriving early next week, probably. Which is retro rock and roll, Dr. Mindbender, and the Cobra Vipers with the bared forearms, which people seem to be pretty stoked about. Um, yeah, so that's what's coming down the immediate pipeline. I'm definitely excited to have that. I've been really excited to get my hands on Sagat specifically. Um, yeah, especially because I know Storm Arena just announced, or actually just put up pre-orders for their Sagat. I think sometime earlier this week or maybe last week. Um, and yeah, like I love that he's like a big boy. I was telling my rep, we were like chatting over the phone. Like I feel like this is the year for like big boys. Um, we have like the 10.5 inch Venom. Today's Marvel stream, which we'll get into in just a bit, has like what I'm guessing is maybe like a 9 or 10 inch Juggernaut. Um, the super huge, I think they call them like Gigantus, which is just Shumagorath from um, Marvel vs. Capcom, but he's huge. Sagat, I know, has always been big, so I think it's a fun time for big figures.
Yeah, and those
Yeah, not to mention
Max
that
Hulks,
maximum
they're
Hulk we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I was just gonna say,
That's also true.
he's really fun to pose. I like that squishy chest material that he's got, and I don't really care for one of the faces as much, but the other two I think are great. And he's like super fun to just hold and pose. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a big clunky heavy figure. He feels like a lighter, something that you can actually like pose and do some pretty cool stuff with. Like I liked him more than I expected.
hmm I'm because I'm sure you can compare it to your Skullmania, or I mean, you have other storms. Um, so I know with Hulk's like squishy chest, it's like a lot. Like the material feels like thinner or softer than my Skullomania. Do you feel like your other storms are like Skullomania or more similar to Hulk?
Probably closer to the Skullomania feel. Yeah, it's pretty solid, durable, I feel like material. And it feels a little less like glossy than the Hulk. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it, but yeah.
Hmm,
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah, because with the Hulk, if you haven't held one before, or if you haven't held the Maximum Hulk yet, like his chest, when you squish it, like you can immediately feel like the hard plastic joint underneath. Not in a bad way, but like it's definitely there. Whereas with Skullomania, and then now I guess I would assume other Storm figures, like you can feel it, but it's like there's definitely like a thickness there.
Like a
So
skeleton underneath the Max Hulk, the way that there is in Storm Collectibles, or is it just like, does it feel like almost like a cloth goods on top of like a skinnier figure kind of a thing?
yeah, more like the joints.
Yeah, like you can feel the
Okay.
architecture in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think someone like ripped that soft skin off Maximum Hulk, and it was like a rectangle that was going into the ball joint. So it was almost like a T,
Hmm.
and then the rectangle held the butterfly joints, and then kind of just like the basic like chest skeleton structure.
It's almost exactly like Storm then.
Hmm.
Sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds very similar.
Yeah, like it's funny because yeah, I think I think it was the last episode we talked about like people were complaining they thought he couldn't do the thunderclap, which he very much can. Um, yeah, as
Hmm.
more people have gotten him in hand, see all these posts on Instagram, people are like, look, he can do it. And I myself made a post like, look, he can do it. Um, but now kind of the question is like, does he have less like forward and back ab crunch than um like I think that's like the 80th anniversary Hulk book. Which I'm curious. I've been wanting to pop that upper torso off the lower torso to see like what the ball joint looks like, but I just haven't had time. But I'm very curious if there's going to be room that you can carve it out or um,
Hmm.
yeah, like Hasbro always it seems like they make their ball joints tighter than they need to be, and I assume it's for like a safety reason. But yeah, I wonder if there's like a little bit more give that can be carved out there.
Yeah, should be interesting. One of the things that I actually really like about whether it be Marvel Legends or McFarlane is usually really good about that, where they like, even though I'm sure there's reasons why they include that extra plastic, they give you that room to almost shave down the joint and add some extra articulation if you need it, and they're really fun to mod, in my opinion.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I think it was we brought it up a couple episodes ago, and I think this would be a good segue. But yeah, just the like even just the fun of taking your figures apart to see how they work, and then being able to see like, oh, I can mod it. Like is I think once you feel comfortable enough with your figures, like that's a fun like discovery process.
oh yeah.
But with that
Yeah, for
said,
sure.
we can transition over to pickups, and really. I just want to hear about your 1.5 Deathstroke Tiger. Um, and I don't remember how explicit we got in, our first or second episode, but Jaden is the Yamaguchi master. And so I'm also very excited to hear from them as like you kind of fiddle with the Tiger. We can see if there's anything that's different from the original release. I heard um Jaden, is it correct that the original Deathstroke had like the ratchet, like the clicky joints?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, these are
I want to
definitely
say
not
he's on my
clicky.
shelf somewhere here.
Oh yeah, if you could find them, that'd be so interesting. 'Cause yeah, I mean, as I saw you moving them around before we started recording, I don't hear any clicking with that guy.
No, it's not like the super super old style, which I mean those are kind of cool, but they're clunky to pose. Like they get caught in
Oh, don't think
those different positions that it clicks into, and so if you want a position in between those two clicks, it's kind of hard because it wants to just go to the next slot.
Yeah, Jaden,
But
I
yeah, I
yeah.
mean it looks
I
looks great.
I couldn't hear your clicks, but I could actually see them.
No, yeah, it's hard. I don't know if Discord is maybe covering it up and I just have to be talking while it's going. If you can hear that at all.
I mean,
Mm,
I can see
not
it
really.
hitting
No.
the different ratchets.
Yeah, it's there's certainly like that's one, that's two, that's three.
Yeah.
So like the ratchets are there. I also gave him a Mezco gun. But
Nice.
yeah, it's because he doesn't come with a lot of accessories to begin with. I mean, it's a lot for, typical Marvel Legends or something like that, but compared to the new one, he's got so much more. It's honestly kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, staff, gun. a couple katanas. He's got flame blades that go onto his katanas, and some people were complaining about like the golden katana or whatever, saying it doesn't really look like Deathstroke's style. But I don't know. I mean, whatever. He's like the best assassin. He can use any kind of sword or gun that you put in his hands. Like that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's like that's part of the charm of Amazing Yamaguchi too. Is like we were talking about this off the podcast as well a little bit about how like Marvel Rivals has this as well, where it's sort of just like a stylization of a iconic character to be like a generic catch-all version of that, and I feel like Amazing Yamaguchi really does that very well, and they have very similar styles, surprisingly as well. But it's you know, obviously they're gonna make it to match the figure as opposed to the any particular comic or anything like that, and I think it works well with the figure.
Yeah, I think it's like as you say that, I think it's kind of fun that like yeah, like you said with Marvel Rivals, it's like yeah, this is Captain America, but this is like super beefy, like over the top Captain America, really fun. And yeah, I love
Yeah.
that Yamaguchi like leans into that. It's like no, we're not going to copy like and try to match this specific comic style or this specific movie, whatever. It's like we're going to make this guy freaking awesome and like just have fun with it.
Yeah.
So very into that.
Yeah.
But going back to the literal kind of nuts and bolts. So Tiger, does yours do the legs on your Deathstroke have that like click 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 or like those spots?
No, it's the newer style joints that are just they're smooth. They're pretty tight. I feel like I could probably go over it with like the hair dryer or something to kind of loosen things up a little bit, but it's like squeaky a little bit whenever I'm doing it right now. But I mean, no, they feel good. They feel like very movable and posable, and I think you can kind of rotate the knee joints and elbow joints to give you a little bit more like range and articulation and other ways. So yeah, they're just really, really fun to pose, really easy to make look very cool and stylish. Very much has that kind of anime swagger to it. And yeah, I just can't speak highly enough about like the sculpt. The paint is great. Um, just all in all, really great. Probably the coolest Gucci I've gotten since Moon Knight, which is like one of the coolest.
For sure.
That's high praise.
I apologize for audio listeners, but Tiger, do you think you could show me the butterfly, like how the butterfly joints move? Because that was something that was also kind of interesting with the original release. And I'll do my best to describe it for those who are listening.
Yeah, you can kind of see these like they're like kind of plates that can like slide in and out to give them a lot more of that flexibility there. And then it can also pivot more up actually on the shoulder ball joint itself. So you can really, really hit some crazy dynamic angles and like um, doing things like you can like cross arms a whole lot easier, or just hitting poses that like you're really not going to be getting with like a lot of domestic stuff, where as soon as that bicep hits the inside, they're like, that's it, that's my whole range.
Hmm.
So yeah, it really is like kind of feels very flexible and very smooth moving.
Yeah. And that's
This
go ahead, Jaden.
sorry, I was just gonna say that I think this is the first time they actually used what I refer to as the shoulder cut in a figure, which is that thing that Tiger was talking about, but like, and it's almost out from the figure a little bit. It's kind of hard to see on my screen, but like, so you can move it back and forth like that, but you can also rotate it around,
Hmm.
which is interesting. Usually with their later releases, it's only the rotating motion, and
Hmm.
they just put a double joint in the shoulder so that you can move that around extra.
Do you prefer it like how it is with this one, Jaden?
Uh, so I like the shoulder cut, although I think the having it a little out more so that it has some wiggle in there is a little much. It's just another thing that you sort of have to manage and keep tight. and it's really easy to accidentally move it a little bit and have a little gap in between, somewhere where you wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, it might
It's
show
got
up
its
on your
pros and
photos.
cons. Yeah.
Like if you were doing like an up close shot or something, you might expose like the joint a little much and just have to readjust the figure, turn it away from the
Hmm.
camera a little bit more to kind of help cover it up. But unless you're like really looking for it or really zoomed in on that, I don't think that you're really gonna see it a whole lot.
Yeah, it's just another little fiddly bit, which is, one of the quirks of having a amazing Yamaguchi figure.
Did
Yeah, but
it?
like most figures, they move around on that shoulder part and that's it. But this is like the whole, like your whole
Hmm.
like chest is like moving with it, which is, our bodies don't just move
Hmm.
at the individual joint or whatever. It's like our whole bodies like moves together. So yeah, it's very fun to do super dynamic um, anime poses with.
Hmm. Yeah. Does it seem to be the same as yours, Jaden, when you were seeing Tiger articulate it, the shoulder kit?
Oh yeah, looks almost identical. I mean, I don't think they changed the articulation on the between the 1.0s and the 1.5s, except for the Revo joints themselves.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, it looks good. I mean, it was already a good figure, so I can only imagine that it's just an improvement.
Yeah, that's true. I forget that the articulation can remain the same, but they can update the Revo joints to be the modern Revo joints, which feel better, but
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily like change the way the articulation works significantly, at least.
Yeah.
Um, I know that you also picked up Hellboy Tiger. I've talked about it on the pod. I saw someone actually in one of my other Discords saying that they feel like it's like one of the top figures of all time. So now I had it, Jaden has it, and you have it. Are you pretty
Yeah.
stoked on it?
Yeah, y'all kind of sold me on it. You sold yours to Char, and Char was like showing me it, and really selling me on it. And then yeah, Jaden's taking some good pictures and was talking it up too. And like I saw a slight discount somewhere, so I was like, this is probably the cheapest I'll ever get it. But yeah, it comes with like really amazing soft goods. The articulated fingers are just like insane, just very silly and just fun to mess with. Comes with some like horns, extra head, gun, sword, and yeah, he's pretty fun to pose. He has more articulation and range than I thought he was gonna have, and just a really great classic Mike Mignola style look to him, where it looks like he pretty much just jumped out of the comic page at you.
Totally. And he has his chest feels definitely more similar to like a Storm kind of soft body rather than the Maximum Hulk.
Yeah, you can kind of press it in and squish it a little, and uh, yeah, I've never had a. This is my first Thousand Toys figure, so I wasn't really sure what to expect, but they feel really sturdy and well made. Uh, Good sculpt, good paint app, good cloth goods, and comes with enough extra stuff to, have some interesting poses that you can do.
For sure.
That's one of the cool things about like 1,000 Toys as a company too, is that they'll do whatever they need to do to get the articulation on the figure. So like with
Hmm.
the Master Chief, they just like uh, they went crazy with those like almost hidden little flaps and things that you could get the extra articulation out of. And with the like synthetic human, they didn't really have to do any of that, so they just like made more articulation everywhere. And with the Hellboy, they were like, oh well, we wanted to make him look as seamless as possible. Let's just make him a soft torso, and have that, and it just works every single time. I don't know how they do it every single way possible and nail it every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm real pleased.
I mean, they're pricey figures, but yeah, I don't know if like they're putting that money into like their R&D or whatever, but yeah, they make it work and it's like it's yeah, they're quality premium figures like through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my pickup for the week, so the guys before we started, but is the Puerto Rican
Yeah.
suit Miles Morales from the recent Gamerverse line. Um, I love the colors. I mean, I love that like it's representing the Puerto Rican side of Miles Morales, but I think also the colors, because I mean, similar to the American flag and Superman's colors are kind of based off of that as well. He has like a very superhero, even more of a kind of a Superman superhero vibe. And so that was like one of the first things that, like, as I was holding him in hand, felt like he should be in a Superman pose. Maybe I'll try to like fit a cape on him or something. But yeah, he's on the Amazing Fantasy 15 buck, which is fantastic Spider-Man buck. So yeah, he's fun. Spider like Hasbro, I think in general, I feel like in general their figures are just great, like hand candy just to like hold and play with. But their Spider-Man figures especially are just so much fun to fiddle with. But
Yeah.
because your camera was frozen last week, Jaden, I would still love to see your F1 Lego collection
Yeah.
if you still have
I
it
have
kind of.
gotten some figures between then as well, but yeah, let me
I also know that you got a
let
new lens, which would love to hear about as well.
me see if I can get a good
Oh
view
yeah,
on
those are
that.
cool. I see the ones on the wall too.
Yeah, I
Oh,
hung up a
nice.
couple, and they're up there, and they're in constructor order. You can't see behind my TV there, but McLaren in first, followed by Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari. But I got the Williams here, and it's really really nice. And I wish I could a little bit more light on this, but there's all sorts of little decals that some are printed on, some are stickers that you need to put on. But like all of this stuff, the attention to detail is crazy because all of them are like just slightly different, just like the real cars themselves. And they have like a little halo that comes up that can get the little Lego guy out there too.
Nice.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so
really
rad.
enjoying them, honestly.
And they're only like 20,
But
25 bucks.
yeah, for 25 bucks especially. Usually Lego prices can go way up there for a lot less, and
Yep.
that's not a bad price in my opinion at least.
Yeah.
But
If that were like a like land speeder, Star Wars land speeder, it'd be like 60 bucks just for
oh
the
yeah.
same size. So that's awesome.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the F1 license is cheap, but yeah, the other pickups I got were significantly less articulated than your guys, but we had the
Oh
Super 7
yeah.
Papa Emeritus the Fourth,
Nice.
who is very cool. Just love the cloth goods. I love that you can also take off like his robes and he's got his alternate look underneath, which is fantastic. I love that they put that in their figures. And then I also sticking with the music theme. I got the
Yo.
Czarface Czar Noir
Oh, that's super
figure.
cool. Very nice.
I had been wanting the Czarface figure for some time, and apparently I missed the regular one. But I saw Czar Noir was still up, and I was like, well, I mean, he looks just as good, if not better.
Yeah,
Why don't I just cop this guy? And
man.
so I did. Yeah.
I've actually been wanting him for a while too. Do you feel like it was a worthy pickup?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially because he was actually on sale on Amazon for under the regular price. Because usually the Super 7 figures are like $55 to $60 price
Hmm.
range. This guy was 40,
It's
so
not
That's not bad.
bad.
not a bad deal. Yeah.
And what they don't have in articulation, they make up for in like the likeness and like, like you said, the cloth goods and stuff on them.
Hmm.
Like you can get a good photo of him. You just might not be able to get him to do a jumping split kick or some anime stuff, you know?
Which like is unforgivable with things like the Power Rangers. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know how they got that one. But with music figures, like I don't care. Like they're
Mhm.
just gonna sit there
Yeah,
and like
it's not
sing
like they're
into a
doing backflips.
microphone, and that's all I care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I,
it's good for that.
I'm much more lenient with the music figures, and that's why I've been collecting the Super 7 ones.
They're
Yeah.
they're there for the vibes, and they bring the vibes in spades, so it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Oh man, after we finish recording, I'm gonna go look. Maybe pick up the same Amazon order. Dang. All right, but I also got to hear about your 100 millimeter lens.
Oh yeah, I don't have it with me. It's in the other room in my studio. But I got so we're obviously big photography enthusiasts, and I've been wanting a macro lens for quite some time now. My style is very like tight focus, narrow FOV, almost portrait shots, and right now on a couple lenses, if I want to get that perfectly, especially with my 85 millimeter lens or my 50 millimeter lens, I have to put on a close up filter in order to focus at like essentially what would be a macro distance closer than it usually needs to focus to get that tight FOV. And I I obviously that's not getting the most out of the lens. It's not getting the most out of
Hmm.
the camera and everything. Uh, Best thing to do is to get a real macro lens, and at 100 millimeters, I think it's the perfect focal length so that I can get like a perfect like shoulders and above true proper portrait and have it be focused, have it look amazing on a action figure.
Yeah, there's I think it's the way the glass is cut or something, but when you have a long focal length with a tight um aperture, it really like pancakes the background up to what's in focus. But what it brings forward in that pancaking is like a luscious, like it's very it's like that beautiful like blurry background that people look for in their, especially in their portrait photography. And um yeah, the longer you have with that focal length, the more it's like buttery, luscious. Like I don't know how else to describe it, but it gets really that nice blur. So I'm excited to see pictures from it.
Yeah, it's 2.8. I don't know that I'm gonna hit that 2.8 right off the bat, but it's definitely gonna go as low as possible to get some nice bokeh.
Yeah, definitely will require some good lights to make sure that it's not just black when you take your pictures.
Yeah.
Man, all right. Well, we have a ton of toy news to talk about. Before that, though, I was gonna put this in the toy news. I felt like it was also a pickup, so I'm gonna put it in between our good friend Chara, which we brought up, or which who Tiger brought up. He ordered, and I don't think it just went up. I think it went up recently, but our friend Char ordered the Nendo for Nokotan, who, if you're unaware, is a dear girl in high school, I think. I read up a little bit on the story to honor our friend, but it sounds like she's a dear girl who makes friends with a regular high school girl, and who their friendship uh, puts much stress on the regular girl as she tries to hide that her friend is a dear girl. But he was very
That's
excited
not
to
deer like DEAR. It's DEER. It's literally she's a deer.
horns.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Char's
Um,
been getting me trying to get me to watch that show for like 6 months and just chomping at the bit for a figure of some kind. I think Char really wants like a 112 figure, but I think the Nindo is probably the closest it's gonna be for a little while. So he's jumping on that as soon as possible.
I was looking at pictures of the Nendo. It's actually not bad. I
I
mean,
like Nindo.
yeah, and I think from what I've seen from the show, like the show is just like bonkers goofiness, like pure silliness from what I can tell. And I think because like the characters are not always like appropriate, not scale, but yeah, like their heads get big and their bodies get little, like in the show. And
TV
so I think,
style.
yeah, I think the Nendo like works for that perfectly. And it seems like it comes with a lot of cool stuff. So, um, yeah, seems like a pretty good pickup.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you can't find 112 figures for certain characters, Nindo will have it. They have like an insanely deep like roster of IPs that they have access to, and like there's no Hajime no Ippo like the boxing anime figures,
Hmm.
but they got Hajime no Ippo Nendos. Like I've considered it because they don't have anything else. So yeah, it's they're definitely filling a niche there that that a lot of people are needing.
Yeah, I mean, they're way more expensive, but I think Nendos are like a much better version of Funko Pops. Um,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
yeah, they're
They're
kind
cool. You
of,
can pose them.
hmm and they have like whenever I go on like Hobby Link Japan, there's always like all these like soft good accessory packs that you can buy.
Yeah, and they're like modular. You can like almost all the pieces are interchangeable. Arms will attach on different figures. It doesn't matter. Like they all plug into each other. Like it's crazy how many of them are actually compatible.
Yeah, they're it's an interesting line for sure. If they were like a little bit cheaper, I think I'd be more tempted to jump in, but it's good. It's good that the price kind of like keeps me back, or else I would maybe go off the
Mhm.
deep end. Um,
I've only
but
ever bought one, and it was to change into a Spider Ham figure.
oh, no
Oh
So
way.
yeah,
I bought the Peter B. Parker dough, and I uh I just turned him into I got I think it's the Marvel Legends Spider Ham head that I put on him, and just yeah, went ham for last lack of a better term.
The scale
yeah,
works
it's
out
cool.
pretty well.
Yeah, I was trying to look up if to see if I have any pictures on my phone here. Not really the best way to convey scale, but that's what he looks like,
Oh
all put
yeah,
together.
Yeah, that's cool.
he's like a little
It works
cutie.
pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. Um,
And like people
certainly.
who like focus on Nindo photography are like crazy. They will do crazy things with a Nindo that I can't even
mhm.
imagine. Like, I can
Oh
get them
yeah.
into like little basic poses, but like they're making it look like fight scenes from like Cowboy Bebop or something like that with these little Nindos.
Yeah,
Oh, here we go. Kind
Uh,
of
yeah,
yeah, that's so
difficult to
cool.
see.
yeah. I like
He's
it.
he's kind of like tight to Spider Gwen there,
Hmm.
but
That's rad.
I also forgot that you have that folding phone, and I'm jealous
oh,
again. It's nice. But yeah, no, I've seen some really rad photography of Nendos, especially I've seen a lot of really good like outdoor stuff. Um, but yeah, they look great in pictures. Um, Staying on the Japan figure train, um, Figure Arts revealed a ton of stuff this week.
Oh,
mm.
I'm in so much trouble.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, our next topic we'll talk about the Marvel stream from today, but with the Marvel stream specifically with the Marvel vs. Capcom stuff, someone in Preternia's Discord server like calculated the cost based on like estimated price per piece, and all in for the Marvel vs. Capcom line is like close to $400.
Oh wow.
Good
And
lord.
And I think the all-in for the figure arts, at least the stuff that me and Tiger were stoked about, the Showa era, um, new stuff and reissues, I'm sure the all-in for that is at least 400, if not over.
I'm gonna have to pick and choose what I want from that because I would love to get all of them, but man, it's so steep.
Hmm.
And all of those, they're Shinshoku Seihos too, which are like the premium figure arts, like really, really nice ones. So yeah, it's like the original Kamen Rider, and in the original Kamen Rider, there's actually two riders. So there's outfits for both of them. The motorcycle, the Cyclone. They've got the first Sentai Ranger, I think he's Aka Ranger or something like that. With like the big red cape and everything. It looks really cool. And yeah, I think there's reissuing that Ultraman. That's like the pretty simple look or like original look.
Oh man,
Oh yeah, yeah.
here we go.
And I'm gonna have to stay up or set an alarm or something so I can get on Premium Bandai at 2 in the morning.
Yep. For video watchers, I was able to share my screen. I think I fuddled it up a little bit before, but anyways, yeah. So they have the Showa Masked Ranger, so which is the original Kamen Rider, and then what they call Kamen Rider 2 or V2. Um, basically like best buds riding their motorcycles together. They have the Aka Ranger, which I think, oh man, if I I don't know for sure, but I think it's one of the very first or very early Sentai characters.
I think that's the first Sentai series,
Okay, I wanted to say that, but
the
I
very
wasn't
first one.
sure.
Well, if it's wrong, it'll be on me, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah. Um, so they have, yeah, they have that, and then they have the bikes for both of the Kamen Rider V1, V2, same bike. And then they have these guys, the Shocker Combat Man, which are basically the precursor to the Putty Rangers or Putty Soldiers in Power Rangers,
Yeah,
uh,
they're just the big dumb goons.
which you want like 10 of, but because it's figure arts, they're going to be like at least $50. And I love that
Yeah,
What are you gonna do it?
it comes with this face here, like it's like the eyes closed,
Oh, that's
mouth.
dope.
Basically
Just
just the
mid
like,
punch face.
uh-huh, like I'm getting beaten up face, which is so good.
just perfect.
So yeah, that's I want all of them, but again, all in on that is like they're probably like close to $100 each. They're
Yeah, it's
reissuing
tough.
their Bulma in the pink dress with the her cycle. They have a new Krillin that they just showed today or yesterday, um, which I guess is from the Namek saga, Jaden.
It could be. It's hard to tell. His outfit is very, very similar across every Dragon Ball Z
Yeah,
saga.
yeah, yeah. It's hard to tell. When we were talking to Ted, though, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's this, this, this." I'm like, "Okay, sure." I don't know. They got this big old dude, this big old Namekian.
Oh yeah.
Um,
If they have him and Nail, that would make sense that he is from the MX saga
mhm.
then.
Yeah, it's like he's just a giant $300 statue of this old dude, which is awesome. And then just before we
But I
started,
like that he.
yeah, before we started recording tonight, I think maybe like an hour or two ago, they showed off the first two JoJo's Bizarre Adventure figures.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
I know a
hype
lot of
about
people are
those.
real excited about that. Yeah.
I've seen some people saying they weren't sure about the likenesses or how they looked, or maybe it was like the product photos of the faces looked a little weird or off to them or something, but I don't know. I think they look pretty good. Especially the product photos that came out today, I thought were a lot better than the first ones that they put out and made the figures look a lot better.
hmm
Um, I'm super excited about that. I love JoJo and all their weird designs and stuff. So usually come with like crazy little accessories because they always have weird abilities or weapons.
Yeah. Yeah, they look even just their proportions alone look like they're so interesting.
Yeah,
Um
very stylized.
mhm. Never seen the show. Heard a lot of things about it, but yeah, I mean they look like they'd be fun figures. And then
Yeah, I'm excited.
they also announced that they're going to make more Jujutsu Kaisen figures, which people have been like literally spamming and um, yeah, like just hounding Tamashii.
Terrorizing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of nice words, but yeah, they have been on their back for more Jujutsu Kaisen figures, and so I guess they're making more. So I know a lot of people are stoked for that.
Yep, definitely. And they announced that Usopp from One
Oh
Piece
yeah.
from the Romance Dawn line, and that also looks great too. I really
Hmm.
like that Romance Dawn line. Like all of those figures look fantastic. They pose really well. Just I'll probably collect that line even though I'm not the biggest One Piece guy, but they just all look really, really good.
So yeah, besides the sorry, not the Instagram stuff, the Tamashii stuff, yeah, as we've been kind of, as I've been mentioning, Marvel Legends had a panel this morning that people were like over the moon for. They revealed figures from the upcoming Fantastic Four film, which people are really excited about. The wave is a wave of six. It's basically the family of four plus Human Torch, like fully flamed on, and then Silver Surfer. Um, but yeah, I mean, even just in the Frogman Discord, trying to like gauge interest, like it seems like most people that want these figures are buying all six of them, which is wild. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's often that Marvel Legends makes like a full banger wave, and it feels like they did it with this one, which is cool.
They definitely look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just because I feel like I keep jacking it up. Um, but yeah, those six look great. And then again, as I've been referencing, they showed off their full Marvel vs. Capcom line, which is also funny. I don't know if you're watching Tiger, but I think they're not allowed to say it's Marvel vs. Capcom.
Right.
Um, because I assume it's because of licensing with Capcom. And
Yeah, something
so
like that.
so Dan on the Marvel Legends team is just saying like that game we all played growing up, that fighting game, that
You know the
arcade
one.
game, the one that we all like,
Yeah.
which is funny. But yeah, there was a bunch of two packs, Wolverine and Silver Samurai, Psylocke and Thanos, War Machine and Omega Red, Captain America and Blue Venom, and then a super deluxe Shumagorath, and then a super deluxe Juggernaut, um, which is nuts.
Which
Yeah.
I don't usually collect Marvel Legends these days, but I'm thinking about that Juggernaut and that Shumagorath. They look really fantastic, and the butterfly joints are finally on Juggernaut, and it looks like he actually has some range of motion, unlike the same one that they've been reprinting over the years. It looks really good.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll get from that. That's what I'm most interested in is the Juggernaut.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in trouble. Um, yeah, like I yeah, like all through my middle school years and then into like the early high school years, me and my buddies would go to this arcade in San Diego. It's called Nickel City. I think there's other Nickel Cities elsewhere, but yeah, kind of as the name suggests, you can play games for nickel. And so they had a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet there. And so like on the weekends we would go and we play other games, but we played a bunch of Marvel vs. Capcom there. And then my buddy who lived like a couple houses down, he bought like a busted up Dreamcast that he then like modded to play Marvel vs. Capcom. It had to like when we were playing it, the Dreamcast had to have like the CD lid open, and so you just like hear the the disc spinning while we were playing. Um, but yeah, that game had like a very near and dear spot in my heart, and so it'll be very difficult to not get all of them.
Yep, that nostalgia is gonna hit you right in the wallet.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what
They
toy
did look really
makers,
nice.
yeah, that's what toy makers are doing. They just keep punching you in the nostalgia, and they get all your money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Um, One last toy thing, just because I'm another thing that I'm also so stoked about, is the Metal Gear Solid 3 Amazing Yamaguchi figures.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. It's
Um,
it's so cool. I mean, first of all, the Metal Gear Solid figures are kind of few and far between. There's some older stuff. The
mhm,
Revoltech has some older figures too, some mini Revoltech, and those are cool, but they're definitely the old clicky Revoltech design. So it's nice to be getting we're getting that Figma Snake,
mhm,
and this new Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake, Boss, and Ocelot. That Ocelot outfit has never had a figure, I don't think. It's always
mhm.
been like the other older Ocelot look. So yeah, that is gonna I'm getting all three of those, like without a doubt.
Easy.
They're gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Ocelot's just gonna be wild, doing little like gun tricks with him and stuff is gonna be so fun.
Mhm. Yeah. Did you play any of the
Super,
Metal Gear
super stoked.
games, Jaden?
No, I never never grew up with those games, but I know a lot of people are really excited about it, and I know the memes that came out of it, the hiding under the box and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Obviously it was like a cultural phenomenon, but yeah, I never got around to playing them. Maybe I'll play them and get the figures, or probably other way around, honestly.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean they're classic.
I assume that they're releasing the figures to line up with Snake Eater. The it's
Delta.
remake, right? It's not a remaster.
Yeah, they're completely remaking it from the ground up. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, and it looks amazing. It's all photorealistic graphics, and super, super high-end stuff. And yeah, I'm kind of worried because like I really love Metal Gear Solid 3 a lot, but and Konami has not had the best track record of dealing with Metal Gear Solid, so
Hmm.
I want them to do really, really good on it because that's like a super classic game for a lot of people. And yeah, I'm just so stoked. If they make any more figures from that line, like any of the other bad guys or something, I'd probably be down with those too because all the baddies in that game are really crazy. Like the end, he's like that old man
Yeah.
sniper. You
Yeah.
can actually kill him by like tricking your PlayStation and increasing the time, and he just dies
Hmm.
of old age. Just like
Hmm.
he has like a ghillie suit and like a headset and all that stuff, and he would make for a perfect weird Gucci figure, like little short squat man with like a sniper rifle.
Hmm.
That'd be
Making a
wild.
video game boss die of old age is wild to me.
Yep, good old crazy Kojima.
He's like seriously like just an auteur of video games.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, those games shaped a lot of like my political learning when I was
Hmm.
growing up and like finding like my beliefs and stuff. And yeah, there's actually just like a ton of real life history in between all of the absolutely crazy stuff. Like today, he announced that there'd be a VTuber in the new Death Stranding 2, which is like a super serious game. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, hey, I'm the VTuber, what's up, guys? Talking to Norman Reedus,
Yeah.
just wild. Like, yeah, man, do your thing, man. I don't care what you do. It's gonna be cool. So just do it.
Seriously, like yeah, Kojima is like such a really like he's just such an enigma of a of an artist. Um like he's been to the Criterion Closet, like where, usually it's like actors, directors, filmmakers will go and look at the Criterion collection and like, oh, I want to take this and I love this movie because blah blah blah. And he was there, but he's like a video game creator, but like he's like such a cinephile, and the kind of like the long running joke is like if Kojima's hanging out with some actor, like he's probably trying to get them into his game, like Norman Reedus or like um that director I can't think of, oh, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, yeah, he was in the first one. George Miller, the guy who did the Mad Max movies, is a good friend of his now, and he's going to be in Death Stranding too. Um, it's just the guy who made the Mad Max movies is just a character for you to interact with, like it's so insane. Uh, but
Yeah.
yeah, all of the stuff that he does is just so out there and original and cool, and people are constantly just looking at him for like, well, what should we steal? What should we take from him and put into our game, or whatever. So yeah, super hype about those figures.
hmm Yeah, I mean, talking about like political, like, kind of giving you that political background. I remember as a kid playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and I was like, what is going on? It goes like
That one is
completely,
really, really wild.
yeah, it goes so off the deep end. And I think just for context, for you, Jaden, and for any listeners who haven't played the games, like Metal Gear Solid, I mean, technically you can go back to Metal Gear, but if we're looking at the MGS series, Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2 is very much like Cold War, covert ops, like sleeper cell, like a lot of this yeah, like double agent, triple agent, like kind of like it just gets really into the weeds really fast. And Snake, the main character, is like sneaking around these military bases basically that are like supposed to be out like at sea or in these hidden places, and they're creating these like weapons of mass destruction that are also kind of like kaiju. But Metal Gear Solid 3 is kind of where it takes a turn where timeline wise, it's like going back to the beginning. And so the game is set basically completely in the jungle. Kojima very much leans into like the Bond influences on Metal Gear Solid. There's there's like a Bond intro where, like the very classic, really trippy graphics, a really catchy song. I don't remember who sang the Snake Eater song, but yeah,
Can't
like
remember, but it sounds like all of those other Bond songs where it's got, like a really swelling female vocal track, and like background of people like getting shot or espionage type stuff. And yeah, it definitely leans way more into that than like the modern kind of tech stealth infiltration of the
mhm,
other games. So it's a nice divergent path from the originals. And three is also like a survival game where you have to like
mhm.
eat stuff or heal your poison if you get bitten by a venomous snake and stuff like that. So it adds a whole nother layer to the games that they didn't have previously.
One of the staples to keep you going in that game is a calorie mate, which is a real life product that I think people in the military would eat back then. And me and my buddies in high school, we found one like at like some random market. We're like, "Oh, calorie mate," and we bought it. We went home and tried it. We're like, this is terrible. This is disgusting." Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Snake doesn't eat those because they're tasty.
no. I think he eats. I
He
think he
eats
can
them
also
because
eat snakes, from what I remember.
yeah, yeah, in the third game for sure.
And just eat them raw. But yeah, I think it's. I agree with Tiger. I think it's arguably the best Metal Gear game in the entire like series. But I think it's also a really fun um, game to pull figures from because yeah, it's like jungle, it's wild because it's leaning into that Bond aesthetic. Everybody's young and hot and sexy and um, like Revolver Ocelot, who's one of the three that they're making in the original first and second game. He's like this old dude that still uses revolvers, but he's like kind of this old. grizzled man, but in Metal Gear Solid 3, he's like young, hot, right out of the military, like with his beret, and so I think they're gonna make for really, really fun figures. Even
Definitely.
Boss, like she's totally almost like a play on a Bond girl where she's sexy. Her suit is always like zipped down to like her navel, but she's also super badass and like the final boss of the game.
Yeah, yeah, very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. I hope they come out within a year and a half. Is that maybe the try to be generous? But yeah, whenever they come out, I'll be stoked for it. Oh, well, as we wrap up, um, Tiger and I saw Sinners. It's incredible. We're waiting for Jaden to watch it so we can all talk about it together. Um,
I gotta stop slacking.
it's really good. It's really, really good. Um, I feel like I've been talking too much. Anything you guys want to talk about outside of the toy world?
Well, what have you been
Outside
thinking
of the
about
toy
lately,
world.
Jaden?
What is outside of the toy world?
Nothing. Everything is toys.
Exactly.
Well, me and Jaden,
Yeah.
we really enjoy it's a YouTube channel actually called Watcher. Um, they're started It's a channel that was started by some guys from BuzzFeed. Basically, one of them got their fame from like kind of like uh, food content, and then the other two got their fame from paranormal investigations and true crime like discussions, basically. But yeah, the three of them made a new channel together, and they make a handful of kind of different content, but. Jade and I really love, yeah, their ghost hunts, and so that's been a topic of discussion, at least between the two of us. I have to share it with you, Tiger.
Yeah,
It's really fun, especially like from a non or like I don't watch any ghost shows whatsoever. And I don't believe in ghosts whatsoever. And there's probably nothing that's going to change my mind on that. But going into it, somehow it just like appeals to me as well. Like because one of the guys is also coming from my point of view, and he just like messes around. He does stuff that you would want, like if you were in that situation, you would want to do, like antagonize the ghosts, like scream at them, provoke them, like ask them to straight up kill you. Like it's hilarious and uh yeah, it's good.
that almost sounds like the Red Letter Media guys when they did that little ghost investigation. They were
It is
like
very
trying
much
to
like that,
just
yeah.
trying to just like placate Mike, who really is interested in ghosts, and Zach Baggins' ghost
Mhm.
investigation stories. And they're just like, look, we just want to do it. We're just going to go out. If we don't find anything, we don't find anything. Of course, they didn't find anything, but it was actually pretty
Yep.
entertaining. Like they gave it a good college try. They went in there and
Mhm.
like took it seriously, took all the real instruments that you can take with you to to pick
Mhm.
up on ectoplasm or whatever it is that you're trying to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah, if you liked that, I would say this is that it's taken up another notch. Like it is like at least with those guys, half of the fun is just the banter that those guys have together, and there is a lot of that in the Watcher Ghost Files as well. But definitely like a lot of the comedy, a lot of the um uh just bits that they do are hilarious and way over the top and usually involve some sort of ghost or entity that they're trying to lure out and potentially scare the other guy with. It's a whole thing and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I
It
feel
sounds pretty
like
fun.
Yeah, they struck gold, I think, with their dynamic that yeah, so they're two guys, there's Ryan and Shane. Shane is the one who doesn't believe it at all. And then Ryan is like a quote unquote true believer. And it's so fun and I think really interesting to see it from both of those angles. I think I'm kind of, for me, I'm someone that would like to believe in the paranormal and the supernatural, but I I have yet to be fully convinced, I guess. But, if something happens when they're on like a ghost hunt, like Shane is there, so you know for certain they're not like making it up. Um, like one of their kind of, to me, more at least more interesting experiences was they were in a an old abandoned penitentiary, and they were on or either penitentiary or like a insane asylum, but they were on a floor that was known to have like a kid ghost that likes to play with like a little blue ball. Um,
Oh yeah.
and and so I think his name was Timmy. So Ryan has the ball. He's like, "All right, Timmy, I'm gonna throw you the ball. You throw it back to me." It's like pitch black. So he throws it, and you can hear the ball like, and then it stops bouncing, and it bounces a little bit more. And when they go look for the ball, it's like inside of a side room, and the ball is like sitting under a spray painted name that says Ryan. It also says 420 Blaze It or something like that. But um,
Yeah.
Ryan was like freaking out. And so Ryan was like, it sounded like it stopped and it started bouncing again, right? And Shane's like, yeah, I heard that too. Like I can confirm like that's what it sounded like. So it's like,
Mhm.
even though Shane still doesn't believe it, at least he's there to like almost as like, yeah, like Zach Baggins and those guys are like, oh, I'm possessed by the devil. But like,
Yeah.
Shane's there to be like, no, this is all BS. So if something weird happens, he's like, yeah, I can recognize that something weird happened.
Yeah, and one of the other great things is the scientific approach that they have to it too, because like going in with the control that he has, being one of the 50% of the paranormal investigators, he can say like, well, one of these devices might fail, so
Mhm.
why don't we just have two of them right next to each other, and we can say for certain if both of them go off at the same time, then that's at least more conclusive than if it were to just be random noise on one device.
And they always end their investigations with individual solos. And Shane always goes
Oh yeah.
first. He'll go into the place and he's basically just like dicking around. Like one of the recent episodes, Ryan gave him the challenge, like, I want you to take this seriously. Like, I want you to go up to this ballroom and I want you to take pictures with your phone so I could see that you actually did investigating. And then, like, Shane just decided to spin and spin and spin and take pictures while he was spinning. Like, so he's totally goofing around. And then when it's Ryan's turn, he's always like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You're totally dying, and so it's yeah, always fun. Highly recommend it. We'll send you a link, Tiger. Highly recommend
Yeah.
checking it out.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Anything else you guys have been enjoying before we wrap up?
I mean, I'm always
Yeah.
enjoying movies and whatnot. Like you said, watch Sinners. I watch older stuff too. Um, watched an old Terry Gilliam movie called Brazil. Terry Gilliam's like one of the Monty Python guys. He
Mm.
makes like
Oh.
really, really trippy movies. Have you ever heard of 13 Monkeys with
Hmm.
Brad Pitt? He did that movie, so it's like really, really trippy, weird kind of stuff. But yeah, I watched Brazil pretty recently. It's from like the 80s, and it was very, very strange, like commentary on like society from a very like kind of sarcastic British perspective. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm always trying to watch like stuff that's a little older too, because like I like current movies and stuff. I'm not like a snob who won't watch anything made in like the past 10 years or something, but I also like to like go back and see like where filmmaking came from, or like where the art form kind of started, or earlier examples of like horror or action, or like car
Mm.
stuff, like car chases and stuff like that that they did back then versus like what they can do now. And yeah, I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. I watch Criterion fairly regularly.
Very cool. It's like I think of that Twilight Twilight Zone? Twilight Zone episode where the guy like he gets stuck in the basement and then there's like nuclear holocaust and he goes out and then like everybody's dead, everything's gone and he's like, well, now I have all the time in the world to read my books and then he like his glasses break. But I feel like if I were in that situation, I would just want to be with a Criterion collection and just like all day, just like let me
Yeah,
power through all those movies.
through my 1,000 movies that I have on my letterbox watch list.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have like even as 1,000 movies that you've shared with me that I can power through as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that'll do it for us. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to us babble about toys and ghosts and all that stuff. Yeah, we are putting our episodes out every Monday. This week, I did finally figure out how to get up our audio files onto like Spotify and all the podcast platforms, and so you can listen to us outside of YouTube. But yeah, until next time, this has been Froggy and Friends. Thanks for joining us at the pond. We'll see you next time.